A lot of people might see the phrase corporate creativity and immediately think that it's an oxymoron. However, creative thinking is becoming one of the best assets for successful companies of all different sizes. Basically, whenever a company values creativity, they're essentially giving their employees the power to solve problems in a different way that they have the most experience with. This could be anything from the mailroom to the delivery room to the boardroom. At all different levels, everyone experiences a certain problem on a daily basis. And if you give them the ability to creatively think of solutions to make their jobs more efficient, then that is what corporate creativity is. Some examples might be creating a faster way to deliver products. It could be a better communication tool between departments. The possibilities are really endless, but like I said, it really depends on the person's job and the problem that they are kind of most affected by on a daily basis. So you know that creativity is important, but now how do you go about making your team more creative? Especially whenever you, in my experience, anytime that you've asked this question, a lot of people will raise their hand and say, I'm not a creative person. There's always at least probably 50% of people will just say that. And what they don't realize is that creativity has nothing to do with fine arts or software that you use or technology. Creativity is a brain tool that anybody can have. The people that think the most creatively don't actually make something art-wise. One of the most creative people that I believe was Albert Einstein, and his creative tool was science, and that kind of applies to anybody at any job or any level, anywhere. All creativity is one's ability to connect two or more completely unrelated objects and create something new, some sort of idea. It could be a product. It could be anything. The way that I like to see this is like your brain is sort of like a library, and each book is kind of like a little connection point. And to be more creative, all you need to do is fill your library with more books or connection points. And during this process of creativity, what you're doing is you're pulling these books off the shelves that might be in completely unrelated sections. One could be fiction, and then the other one could be marine biology. I don't know. It could be anything, but essentially the more books you put in your library, the more possible connection points and the more creative you can be. Something important to understand is that creativity is absolutely a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. If you don't use it, then it gets pretty weak. It's pretty easy to understand like that, but instead of obviously lifting weights, you have to kind of think through different ideas and to add more connection points to that library in your brain and work out more solutions that might be a little unrelated from time to time. But the idea is that if you practice it pretty often, daily, at least weekly, then you will get better and become a more creative person. So that being said, my 3 favorite ways to essentially gain more connection points in your brain. There's 3 activities that I like to give people to do. The first one is to break off into groups, small groups, between 3 and probably 8 people or so. I guess another important part of creativity is to always start with some kind of problem. To just ask people to be creative isn't realistic. They need to know a problem that they're trying to solve. There's got to be some goal to creativity or for creativity to work. So break off into these groups and present that question and go around the table. Everybody gets to say what they believe the solution to that is. And it's also good if they have a day or two to kind of put together their own ideas before they present them, whenever they're given the problem that they're trying to solve. Go around the room one time. Let every single person say a solution to a potential solution to that problem. And after you go around one time, then start giving people the ability to kind of say, hey, these ideas are similar, but like, what if we did this? And then another person might say, yeah, but then you can do this too, and you can add to that. Essentially, when you put people together that have different backgrounds, different beliefs, they're automatically going to think in different perspectives. So by getting people together in a smaller group or smaller team and trying to discover a solution, it's going to be different from team to team, but at least you can put together all of those ideas to create as many connection points as possible in your library, and then be able to formulate one solid solution. The second way is to change your environment. This could be done in many different ways, but at its simplest form, it can be a small field trip for an afternoon. If you take, again, a small group of people, you present them with a problem, and kind of send them off to a certain place. It might be related to the problem in some way, but essentially by changing people's routines, you're kind of activating this part in their brain that looks around for things that are going to try to kill them, our lizard brain. It automatically makes people think at a faster rate and think a lot harder about certain things. So just like I said, by taking a small field trip, this could be changing where everyone sits in the office. Like it could be something more major like that. It could be just getting a new office altogether. But again, changing surroundings and changing that routine for people will definitely automatically make them start thinking in a different way, especially when they're presented with that problem. And the third way, and I warn you, this is a little bit of a plug here, but is a board game that I made called The Game of Creativity. It is a simple card game with 56 cards, and just like that library analogy that I was giving, where it's all about this connection points, essentially what this is 56 connection points. So you flip over 2 cards. Again, you have to have your problem. You flip over those 2 cards, and you try to figure out how those 2 cards can be combined to solve that problem. And if it's no good, then you scrap that, and then you draw 2 more cards. The game was made to be able to quickly be able to iterate and find those good ideas, and to be able to start thinking in new directions. And I also made it so that people can practice creativity on a more regular basis. There's only so many problems that you can try to solve, so especially in workplace. So if you were to use a game like this to become to kind of build that creative muscle, and whenever a problem does arise, then you're essentially ready to solve it. So that's all I have. Thank you for watching. Please like and share and follow, and if you could do me a favor and comment below on some other ways that that maybe you've tried to help a group of people become more creative, a company, a team, a class, could be anything, but I'd love to hear that. And if you're interested in the Game of Creativity, you can go to thegameofcreativity.com. You can get your cards there. All right, thanks and bye.